I wanted to talk about one of the housekeeping questions you covered before.
Brilliant. That'll chew up 8 minutes.
It's regarding the distance to the sun. So,
Okay.
we have this flat earther claiming, he shared a meme in which it says that the earth is bigger than the sun, or you can put it the other way around, the sun is smaller than the earth. And it had Morpheus from the Matrix's image, just trying to look cool and everything. And I cross-questioned that if you are saying this, then you are making a vacuous claim without knowing the actual distance or size or nature of the sun. You are making a claim which you cannot substantiate. Let's try to avoid such mistakes, which we came out of within heliocentrism, and we point out similar mistakes within heliocentrism. So his response came as, I was expecting someone to say that, and he presented the spotlight effect or the hotspot effect as a proof of the sun being close. A result of that is crepuscular rays and everything. But basically, you must have seen images of the hotspot of the sun on clouds. So that was his basis. Any comments on that?
Okay.
So the sun is a flashlight over a flat plane?
He's saying when he shows crepuscular rays coming through the clouds, right? I mean, I've seen plenty of those images, and okay, fine, notwithstanding that you can have crepuscular rays with a point of convergence on the sun with a spot directly below the sun. Okay, how high is it then? Would be my next question. Give it me in feet.
Yeah, it's like you'd nearly say he's right, except for there's absolutely no basis for him proving it. You know, the probability is the sun is not as big as the earth, but we don't even know what the sun is the stage either way. So you're walking, it's like with a meme that shows Morpheus and these kind of things or whatever, with me or whatever, Matrix nonsense. You're walking into a hallway of razors because you can't prove it. You can just, it's inference, not proof.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that inference. You can say, based on this hotspot, the sun gives off the impression that it's pretty damn close. I go, yeah, it does, doesn't it? As a throwaway discussion amongst friends, I wouldn't have a hesitation to agree with that inference. But I go, but if they went, yeah, it's definitely less than 3,000 miles. I go, whoa, 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 whoa. How did you measure it? How do you know? What is the sun? And they go, well, it's that light up there. I go, okay. So it's kind of circular to say that, but fine. I'll just let that slide and we'll go on to the height that must be less than 3,000, whatever's units that you're going to infer. How'd you measure it? Oh, well, we take an angle to it. Oh, okay. What about in an hour? Will it be closer to the horizon, given that we're edging towards dusk? Oh, yeah, it'll definitely be. So would that change the angle? Yeah, it would, yeah. So what use is that? Oh, none. It changes. Right, so when it's on the horizon, you're going to tell me that its height is 0? Is it touching the horizon, touching the ground, 0 elevation above the ground? It's absurd. You've got no methodology to measure its height.
Well, the equivalence you drew was the spotlight effect, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to draw that equivalence, you got to believe the Earth is or the sun is a spotlight. How do you know that?
Because it looks like one with a hotspot below it, like a torch. If you took a smoke machine, filled your room, put a torch dangling above your head on a piece of string, and then had the light coming down, you'd see the angle that it came out of the torch with a spot on the smoke in the middle of the room. That's what they're saying it looks like.
So murderers are covered in blood. Anybody I see covered in blood is a murderer.
By juxtaposition and comparison in this example, then yes.
Right. So any doctors that are fresh out of surgery need to be hung. Anybody that works as a butcher probably needs to be hung.
This is
We
a
can go ahead and get
political
rid of all
question
those
for a
people.
different forum, perhaps. Oh, by comparison. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's the logic, isn't it? Covenant blood equals murder. No, it doesn't. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean murder. So
But we can if
the
we can
logic
do
is
the
flawed.
we can do the whatever it's called Monty Python application of logic, can't we? Or does it produce light? Yes, it does produce light. Right. Does it create a spot below the smoke machine, like the clouds? Yes, it does. Well, therefore, it's a torch.
Yeah. Therefore, it's a duck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's get the scales out and weigh her.
If she's
yeah.
if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's made of wood and therefore a witch. Therefore, we can burn her. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it does look like a torch. It looks like that. That's what you'd infer from it. But should we, A, concern ourselves with drawing seemingly logical inferences what the sun is, when it's claimed to be an enormous ball of gas burning in a sky vacuum 93 million miles away in orbit based on flat plane measurements? Which should we do? One, make our outrageous claim that we can't back so that people can argue with that. Or two, debunk their claim because they're taking a measurement of an angle off a flat plane as well. So just point out where when they claim their height to their sun, which they claim is 93 million miles away, will need a flat plane to make that claim. Once you've done that, you've got their claim using a flat plane and obliterating their distance. When you make the claim, you just end up in a false dichotomy where both of you will claim that you can measure the distance off a flat plane, but one has actually got the accurate 93 million mile distance for all the reasons of an intelligent person that should know better. Therefore, Earth's a sphere because you've got a flat plane measurement of an angle to the sun.
Nathan,
Go on.
how else are you going to explain the current dangers of solar flares?
Are you on acid? What?
Don't you know the new risks of solar flares? They're really dangerous, right? Like the explosion of the gas in the sun can suddenly reach such a magnitude that the explosion of the gas can actually escape the gravity of the sun enough to reach Earth and create all kinds of havoc, right?
Yeah, it also activates the kryptonite to affect human cells. So I understand, Darwin. It's terrible. Fear porn.
Yeah, it's really the current thing now. They're really hyping it up. So that means that, of course, the sun has to be a giant exploding ball of gas.
Don't be afraid. Be very, very, very afraid.
Okay, so I will go back to Nathan's point, and so I also agree, and in my response, I also said something of the same sort in which I gave him two exhibits. Exhibit A being when a glober says that the sun is 93 million miles away, a flat earther asks, prove it. The glober gives some baseless assertion and the flat earther points it out. This is the first exhibit. The second exhibit is the glober says the sun is 93 million miles away. The flat earther says, no, it is not. The sun is small and local. The glober says, prove it. And the flat earther says something like the spotlight effect or the hotspot effect, whatever the hell that is supposed to mean. So it's a matter of choice, of priority, which way you want to go. But the second exhibit unnecessarily reverses the burden of proof on flat earthers.
Well,
You missed a step.
Arthur,
Oh, no.
I mean-
You missed a step. So there's a
No.
third step to that. So what the baller then does, so in your example, that was absolutely perfect, by the way, Arthur, perfect. Right? So flat earther says hotspot when we've got the false dichotomy set up, which wasn't necessary. Perfect example. Then the glober says, I can use a flat plane measurement to prove Earth's a sphere in this false dichotomy. And because I'm better at utilizing a flat plane for an angle to the sun to claim its height in orbital motion around a sphere that was derived from a flat plane, I sound far more intelligent when I use a flat plane to prove a sphere. Therefore, Earth's a sphere. Were you listening in, John, when I gave you loads of props in Ballbusters?
I might have missed that part.
I gave you plenty of props in Ballbusters because there was various different points where it got to the stage where this exact scenario happens. But typically you give a fair example where you're like, no, the flat earth is competent and will offer up a plane measurement, in this case for height to the sun. Now, that would be a failed example as well because it's going to move throughout the day, changing its angle. Nevertheless, they're giving a flat plane measurement that fails, and the globe earther gives the exact same example off a flat plane but says it proves a globe. So you end up in a false dichotomy with two claimants, one making a claim that's going to fail, that uses a flat plane but fails for whatever reason. In this case, a failed claim because there are hotspots. Okay, we're talking about the height of the sun. You say it's local, you say hotspots is your proof. What say you, Glober? He says, I can measure a flat plane. He listened to all this clever maths, and that proves a sphere. Right, John?
Yeah, that's basically what they've been doing from the beginning with everything. Just about.
As an alternative to the hotspots, a flat earther could just say, yeah, but Aristophanes. And I'm now just going to presuppose a disk instead of a ball. And then the angle to the sun proves it's supposedly 3,000 miles away. I mean, they could just pull a literal Aristophanes to counter the ball version of Aristophanes, and it would reach the same goal. I mean, neither of it would prove an actual location of the sun.
But both would require a flat plane to use the methodology. Aristophanes.
That is true, yes.
Right, but that's John's point. So when they say we've got a flat earth proof and the other opponent says I've got a globe proof, what will actually happen is there'll be two flat earth proofs stacked up against one another, or in this case, one flat earth proof being used by a glober to measure angles off a plane to infer orbital motion. The other will be a hotspot over a cloud to infer that it's small and local. Arthur's predominant point is that ain't necessary. They've claimed they've got a height to the sun 93 million miles. You, as Joe Normie flat earther, haven't got any necessity to claim anything. Now, if you want to take their claim and prove that they used a flat earth for their claim, that would be the right thing to do, because you don't have to defend anything. Why would you? Why do you want to claim you've got a height? Why do you care about the height of the sun? Because of the hotspot. Does it make any difference to your life? No. The only reason you're doing it is because the Feast of Nonsense has pre-fed you a meal that made you feel it necessary to regurgitate up that crap in false dichotomy. You don't have to claim what height the sun is. Even if you did know, does it help you prove Earth's flat? Well, with the angle measurement they'll be using, yeah, it does. Focused on that.
What it does is a little bit of counter programming against, like, no, it has to be 93 million miles away, and that's it. It's like a reflex counter programming, but it's technically not proven. The only way it's proven is that, oh, I'm proving a globe based off measuring a flat plane. Well, I'm proving a flat plane measured off a flat plane. I mean,
based on a hotspot.
Really the thing.
Well, with Arthur's example, it's just based on it having a hotspot.
Yeah, but the hotspot is just an illusion, really. I mean, you don't even know what you're looking at there.
Yeah, but there's a subtle nuance you're missing. Yeah, but there's a subtle nuance you're missing. The glober believes the sun is X size and 93 million miles away, but the flat earther believes the sun is X size and 3,000 miles away. Because they have a belief. This is what they're doing. They're arguing my belief versus your belief. David Weiss, right? David, hang on.
They have a different presupposition.
Let me finish. David Weiss can claim that he is a flat earth map and show someone the Gleason's projection. And a border can say, Australia is too big. And David Weiss can say, you're just not open-minded enough.
Go on, Arwin.
It was a good point. I mean, it's just a matter of presupposition. I figured this out in, what was it, 2018 or something, right? Flat Earth presupposition of a disk with the 3,000 miles away and the sun, the 93 million miles away, based off the presupposition of the Earth being a sphere. And that's it. Like, that was the trick. That's the false dichotomy of the Feast of Nonsense versus the globe claim.
Perfect.
Yeah, because people flat earthers feel they need to give answers. My son does it all the time. You can't tell me what it is.
that's exactly what the Feast of Nonsense is for, to prepare you as a flat earther, rather than with overcomes for globe claims that making in the affirmative, to give you an argument for the flat earth that may or may not fail or win. It doesn't matter. As long as you've got an argument to put forward against the positive claim, you're not debunking the positive claim. That's what the Feast of Nonsense is laid out to give everyone from the off. Now, the people who are more popular in this arena are the people who gobble it up and regurgitate it, because they are acceptable in the algorithm, because it serves the ends of the people who want to control the opposition. Give them an argument to put up against our argument. Hopefully it'll fail. And then, even if it doesn't, there's a good chance that the way we've set up the anti-flat earth side of this argument, they're going to be begging the question of the globe and repositioning every argument to beg the question of the globe in every instance. Now, when that happens, you just have somebody who's insistent on begging the question of a globe arguing against someone with a crap argument for a flat earth, and both will utilise the flat plane to measure their examples, but neither will realise. So both are left with a belief, flat earther and globe earther, one being the more dominant in society, globe earther, who can insist that he righteously can beg the question, the other with a fairly crap example of a hot spot for the sun proving that it's local. Well, who cares if it's local? Debunk their claim and show how they measured a flat earth. That's it, that's what should happen. But if you regurgitate the Feast of Nonsense, like Dave Weiss in the recent example, then your average Joe Normie sees all of the pre-sharpened tools for a globe earther to chop that man's head off. That's Dave Weiss. He's going to go, wow, look at all these shiny tools I could chop his head off with. And then you go and chop your head off with them. You don't even know it's being removed while you tell them that they need to wake up and smell the coffee of reality, and you're just not open-minded enough when they don't accept your crap arguments that you've been given by the Feast of Nonsense. That's why they're designed to fail or be hand-waved. Any last comments?
And that's why I think they're the primary enemy. The Feast of Nonsense seems to be our true enemy.